Hey everybody, this is Pam at the Paper Outpost. It's a little different video today. We're going to be talking about something related to junk journaling, but it also has some fingers into some other areas. And I just wanted to share with you my limited knowledge on this topic because I am an old photograph collector. I'm going to be talking about some tintype photos today and also something called Memento Mori. And I'm going to write that out in case you want to look it up. But it's, if anybody is squeamish or doesn't feel comfortable talking about death and dying, this may not be the video for you because this is about that topic. Memento Mori. Okay. Memento Mori is a phrase that means, I believe it's a Latin phrase, it means literally remember death, or remember your own mortality, or remember that you are going to die someday. Now, how does this all play into the junk journal world? Well, if you are a collector of old things, you may come across something called Memento Mori or Post-mortem photographs from the early to mid 1900s. It was something that was done to honor the dead. It might seem creepy and weird for us now, but back then it was considered a way to help process grief, and it was comforting to the families who were dealing with difficult times, the loss of a loved one. And what they would do is they would photograph the dead person, which is not unusual. We have been taking pictures of people at funerals and things like that that are in the coffin. But the difference with this particular style is they leveled it up to positioning the deceased in a lifelike situation in a scene. So you may have, let's say, if a child passed, which was not uncommon back then. There was not a lot of medical care. People did die frequently. They had lots of children, and occasionally some passed. And what they would do is they would take a picture in a lifelike situation using props to basically put that person in a position that looked like they were alive. So you might have a mother and a father and the child standing in the middle. So they would actually use like broomsticks and things like that, and they wouldn't cable tie the person to it, but they would actually tie the person to it, prop their arms up with little sticks and things like that to get them to have lifelike positions in the photograph. It was not unusual at all. Sometimes it's very easy to spot in an old photograph. Sometimes it was done so well you can't even tell the living people from the dead people. Also, when it came to their eyes, if it was okay, if this is uncomfortable, please feel free to leave now. I have a medical background, so this is very comfortable for me to speak with. So I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. But the eyes are very fluid-filled, very moist, and they will be some of the first things to deflate once the body starts to go through decomposition. Now, they were not very good at preserving bodies back then, not as good as we are today, so things happened fast. So you had to get in there, prop the body up, get your photos, and get out of there. So if a little time passed and the eyes were a little bit deflated, they may close the eyelids and paint the eye on the outside of the eyelid. And those are actually easier to spot. Now, I have some photos that I don't know if they're true Memento Mori photos. The true ones do cost a lot of money, but there are some that I am suspect of in my collection. And I'll show you those. I'm just going to show you a random set so you can get a feel for that time period, what they look like, and maybe if we can spot an unusual one. Okay, so I'm going to put my couple unusual ones. Just going to put them over here because there's something a little bit different about them. And these are not dated on the back, so I don't know the time periods, and there's no information on them, so I don't have confirmation, but I'm thinking they're possibilities. So anyway, if you are interested in old photographs, I collect old black and white photos, and I also collect tintype photos. The tintype photos are quite more expensive compared to the black and white paper photos. I don't know, it just depends on the photo. $30 for a tintype on average, anywhere from $10 to $30. Here's one for $20. I mean, that's what whatever this person was charging. Here's 28. But they're very interesting. So let's take a closer look at a couple of these. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, let's just start looking at something. So this is a tin photo. Now to me, everybody looks natural and alive. This is probably, oh, I don't know. I would guess maybe the 1900s by the dress. And everybody does look alive. There's a certain way they hold their hands, which just looks lifelike to me. That would be difficult to do with the positioning with the props. And the face smiles and the eyes all look normal to me. So let's just take a look at some others. Now this guy, I would say his face looks pretty normal. His hands look a little odd to me, as if they're positioned. I don't know if the photographer had him do that. It almost looks like he was supposed to be holding a book, but that's a very unusual hand position to sit like that. So that makes me question. I don't have confirmation, but I would put that in the questioning category because the hands are unusual position. I'll put that over there. And we're just going to go ahead and look through some of these and see what you think. Now to me, this looks like a regular photo. The eyes look normal. Expression is flat, but the flat affect or the expressionless face was very common back then. It was not considered appropriate to smile in photos, so it is a little difficult to tell in that regard, but I would say her eyes look normal. So that's, I'm going to put that in the normal category. This guy, hard to tell. I would say probably normal. Don't know. But somebody they honored. They put it in this cute little oval frame. Nothing on the back. Don't know any of the history on that. Here is what I would call a classic memento mori positioning. They have him standing. I know, I don't know if this is. He may be a very live person. But having their arm leaning on something, having them seated. Notice the hand is closed here. That would be something you could easily do by positioning a deceased person. The eyes look normal, so I'm putting that in the I don't know category. Well, I'll show you one that I'm questioning. Okay, this guy. It's unclear to me. Let me see if I can go closer. Maybe it's better if I do this. But his eyes, hard to tell. A little glassy. You're looking for any clenching that a natural body might do, like around the chin. There might be a little clenching of the jaw, so that he may very well be alive. Look at the positioning of the hands. Let me back up a little bit. The seated, the hands aren't really doing anything, but that just might be photographer positioning as well. Unclear, but questioning in that one. Like I said, I don't know if I truly have any, but they could be. Let's see if I can get this guy out of here. So I wrote a course on death and dying, and this is where I originally came across the information on the memento mori photography or the post-mortem photography and how it was utilized back in those time periods. And it was very interesting to research and to see some. And I'm going to try and show you some that are more de facto actual memento mori style, but these, because they're in my own collection, I'm just looking at them to see if there might be any here. This guy looks, I think he's alive, or he was. He's probably not doing too well these days, but he's had his day. I just find this topic interesting. Not everybody will, but I thought I'd put it out there because it does dabble into the world of junk journal making, because we collect old things, and it's sometimes nice to know the history of old things. Now this little girl, I would say her eyes look good, and there's always a premium price on memento mori photographs, so it is highly possible that none of these are true memento mori because they would have been sold at a much higher price rate. Okay. Nope, that's a paper one. Okay, let's see. Oh, let's see this lady. Now let's take a look at her. What do we see there? Let me take a really good close look at her eyes. Oh yeah, those are a little weird, right? Yeah, hey, wait, look at those. Okay. We could have something here. I can't see it really well with my glasses, but something going on with those eyeballs. When you see something unusual like that, it's a possibility. The hands, okay, they could be positioned like that. Let me back up a little bit. We don't see much else of the body, but this could be positioned like that. She could have also just had a palsy of the eye or something like that that is causing that unusual look, or maybe it was just a weird camera shot, but she's a contender. Definitely, I think so. I don't know. Now here's one of these where we have the family, or at least 2 women and a boy. So maybe it's one of their sons. Let's take a closer look. Okay, I think his eyes look all right. Everybody's eyes look all right. They're standing, he's seated. Hands are, I would say, a normal position, but could also be positioned. I would say low index of suspicion there. And then we have this guy. No, he looks pretty normal to me. He has that relaxedness about him. You see the relaxedness in the shoulders and the arms, like the way the elbow tilts down and up and over as opposed to a stiff arm. And some are extremely obvious when I'll show you some pictures of true ones. Okay, this guy looks kind of dead. Let's take a look at him. And I mean this in the most respectful way. It's just what they did back then. Okay, so this is an older gentleman. Let's look at his eyes. Looking a little funky there, you know what I mean? Like closed, half closed. And I would say he has probably a pretty, either he blinked when the camera took the picture, or he could be in a memento mori, post-mortem photograph, which I think it probably is. I don't know for sure, but you look for little oddities like that. Oh, here, what's this guy? Does he have his eyes closed too? Hard to tell. I can't see squat. Oh, I think his eyes are open. What's that left eye doing? A little less open than the right eye. I think he's alive. I don't get the sense. Oh, what am I, a psychic? No, I just don't. I think he just probably didn't open his eyes up that much. That's worth 2 cents, and you know, some butter. I know for what it's worth. Okay, I thought this picture was just so interesting. It's a woman looking into a mirror, not technically at herself. She's just looking at something else in the reflection. And then the hand, I don't know whether she's lighting a candle, but it's just a very unique, unusual photograph. The frame, I guess it could be Victorian. Also looks a little 1940s to me. I don't know if they did them back then, but I did read mid-19th century, so it's possible. Yeah, no information on that one, but that's an interesting photograph, isn't it? Yeah, I like that one a lot. This young lad makes me question. I think the eyes are a little bit unusual in this photograph. Could just be his look, but they seem to be crossed. Now, he may have had crossed eyes. His lips are very full, and usually there's a level of sunkenness in the lips with the true, you know, if somebody's deceased, they don't have that full blood pressure going on, and their lips might look a little bit flatter than the average person. Like, let's look at Grandma here. Take a good look at her. Okay. Gosh, I can barely see her eyes. Maybe you guys can see it better. Are they open or not? But see, as we age, we have less fluid in our bodies, and our lips are less full, and upon death, blood pressure is gone. It drops, and the lips will flatten out quite a bit. Let's see what else we have here. This is a pretty picture. It's up now. To me, she looks very alive. The eyes are robust, open, but sometimes if they're too big and too open, they have been propped open. They're glued or sewn or propped open with small little toothpicks or something, I guess, to keep them open. But she looks healthy. I think we'll call her healthy. Now there's this dude. Let me back up a little so you can see the whole picture. And like these are probably just normal photos. This looks like normal. He's got expression lines, which they generally go away upon death because there's no contraction of the muscles in the face. So you're not likely going to see wrinkles in the forehead, any sign of expression I mean, he has a little, I don't know, there's something about him looks like a little expressive. And the eyes look like normal human eyes that are alive to me. This little girl. Now, it's not unusual for a little girl not to be paying attention and looking off in a different direction when the photo is actually taken. That would have been me as a kid, wiggling like a little, you know, wiggler. Her legs are very strangely straight and down. Usually children's legs will wiggle. Her hands are crossed. Maybe she was told to stay still. Maybe she's doing her best to do that. I'd say probably she's just a normal little girl sitting there, but the eyes look a little, they look like live eyes. Yeah, I would say that they're pretty normal. Although the face is very flat, the lips are down, the lips are flat, but she just may be in mope mode. You know how they do that sometimes. But the legs, usually there's like the legs will wiggle or cock or torque or turn a little bit in a child. It's very unusual to see a child poke or straight their legs like that. Of course, she could have had polio. We don't know what the story was, but here's this lovely lady. And here's another one of those classic positionings that you will see Memento Mori photographs in. Seated beside a table, helping to prop. All of these would be very easy to do with broomsticks and things like that. Although, and there's a little bit of color in this one, which I don't see that often, but I have seen in a few. They've given her rosy cheeks. I don't know if it comes out on camera, but there's a slight pinkage. She does look alive to me, though. But they may have added some pink to her cheeks, or post-photography, they may have done that. And this is a little babushka, little baby, cutie. Round, full face, little puckered lip there, probably alive. Doing something active with the hands. It looks like it's holding or grasping. And see the feet are just splayed out in normal little baby style there. That looks like a live baby to me. Okay. Who's this lovely lady? So if you do have any of these, take a closer look. Sometimes if the eyes were just shot, you know what I mean, they were sunken in and the lids aren't working so well, they would place stones where where the eyes were and paint the stones to look like eyes. That was done as well. So whether the eyeball was actually removed and the stones were placed inside, or they closed the lid because the eyeballs had sunken in, deflated, and then they basically glued the stone to the outside of the eyelid, that was also done. The strange things, you know. And it was very common. It wasn't unusual. Nobody thought anything about it. Today, it may make us feel a little uncomfortable. This one is so hard to see. It's so dark. I'll just move on. Here's a couple. Maybe a married couple. I would say they look pretty alive. I think that looks good. She definitely looks alive. She has a little tilt in her body, which, and the relaxedness of her arm makes me think she's an alive person. Now, they would also put them standing up tall or seated, so you never know. You can't decide based on their positioning, but look for the stiffness in the picture. Yep, can't tell with her exactly. This guy, no, he looks alive. Now they have colorized his cheeks as well. So they did do some coloring back in the day. You can tell, you know, by the clothing, the time period, probably late 1800s, early 1900s, I would guess. And the hairstyle and all that. Now she definitely has some colorization going on in her blouse or her jacket, and she has the cheeks as well, and she looks alive. Okay, I'm looking for the dead ones. Okay, this fella. Oh, there, it's just a piece of plastic. He looks fine. I'd say he looks all right. Lips are still full. Probably just a picture of a young man maybe going off to war or coming back from war. Here's a couple looking off into the distance. I would say likely alive. The way the hands are, it's just not like if it was positioned, it would be more perfect like that. These are a little bit more human, like the way a human would normally relax themselves. Yeah, I would say they look pretty perky. We'll give them a go in the alive bucket. This little guy has definitive expression, and I would say that puts him into, or her, not sure, I guess it's a girl, she's in a dress, into the alive bucket. And the hands are a little not exact, like not perfect. Another sign, legs crossed. You can't tell with the legs crossed though. But yeah, I would say alive. This guy, Now this guy, this could just be an expression, but I do question it a little bit. Let me come to you. Okay. Eyes look a little flat. Expressionless, complete expressionless face. See the flatness of it? The lips have some turgor, they have some pressure in them, but not a lot. That just may just be his face. Hard to tell. Hands oddly positioned. That's a weird sign right there. That's an odd position for a human to put their hands in. Not completely unheard of, but doesn't look like a natural place unless he was positioned by the photographer that way. Okay, I'm gonna uncross my legs. My legs are falling asleep. Okay. Now there's this lovely lady. All right, she was positioned here. Now let's look a closer look at her hand. That's one finger going off to that way. See that finger? Yeah, that would, I would say, would probably be an alive hand. And she's almost holding it with the other hand. I don't know, is that a finger? Let me count the fingers. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. That would not be a memento mori because she is actively doing something. Curling the 2 bottom fingers here, not those. That's probably showing a little stress. Maybe she's wondering what she looks like. Based, you know, she's got, you know, like I'm getting my picture taken. I hope I look good. Okay. Huh. All right. And, oh, I just gotta, okay, there we go. More comfortable. All right, here's this lovely lady. Let me back up a little. Pretty dress. Also staged beside a chair, which was not unusual back in the day, but could be done with the memento mori or regular photos. She's holding a purse, and her eyes are so small I don't think we can see them. These 2 lovely ladies reading something or looking at some lace. I'm not sure what that is, but one is reading, one is looking at the camera. Go a little closer so you can see their faces. Yeah, I think they're both alive. We'll give them the alive bucket. All right. Let's peeper. Both this little family. Sometimes in the family photos, you never know. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, mom, dad, and the baby. The baby, I would say let's go a little closer. Oh, baby's eyes look good. There's an expression there. Chubby cheeks, fully inflated, and the legs are dangling like a baby's legs would dangle, like they're doing something. They're not perfectly positioned. So they have the wiggling baby maneuver. Baby is holding, maybe daddy's trying to hold daddy's thumb. I would say that that whole family is probably alive. Not quite sure how well the marriage is going. She's kind of leaned out a little bit. He's unsure with baby. He's got baby duty holding the baby. Mom looks reserved. That's the way they look. That was their look. Okay, that was the thing. Okay, we have this lovely lady. Now, she may have been single with her parasol. Now, I'm sure, how do I know? I don't know. She looks alive to me. She looks like she's going places, doing things. She's got her suitcases or something there. I don't know what that is. But I think she's living large and living the dream. That's what I think. There you go. For what it's worth. Okay, now this lady, maybe not so lucky. Okay, you know what I mean? Life's been hard. She's a little scared about life. Lips are pursed a little bit. A look of concern on the face. Trying to look relaxed. She's all buttoned up. Hair back. And yeah. No, I think she's not getting out enough. She needs to go out more. Okay. Probably not the thing back in the day. Okay, here we go. This lady. This is almost like the orientation of a queen, where they would have them 45-degree angled and then almost looking down on the people. You know what I mean? Often you didn't know what the photograph would look like until it was taken, so you didn't have a lot of opportunity to make it better. You sort of was like a one-shot deal probably back then. Looks alive, although the eyes are looking down, expressionless. Let's look a little closer at her face. But there is a clench. I would say clench here somewhere. You can almost see a clench of the jaw, maybe some stress, indicating her life. So I'm just going over these tips in case you do come across a collection of tintype photos. Maybe you want to take a look and see which ones might be truly memento mori photographs or just regular family photos. I mean, they did take regular family photos back then. Okay. This is a nice, maybe a husband and wife with the parasol and the hat and some drop picture behind them. Let's go a little closer and look at the, he has head tilt. Eyes look pretty normal. Her eyes look pretty normal. Lips are full. Can't tell with his mustache. Hands are relaxed but not in odd, they're positioned but not oddly, like they were placed. It was looked like the photographer said, okay, put your arm up here, put your hand down there, look relaxed, breathe, snap. I think that's what happened. And, okay, so there's this lady. I think she's probably, the lips are very flat though, but she just may have had thin lips. Yeah, I would say she's, now the eyes are a little bit crossed. That could be normal, but we don't know. This is an unknown. Yeah, no wrinkles, no expression, indeterminate. Okay, so I'm going to try, if I can do this on the computer. Hold on, I'm going to try and show you some real ones. Hold on. Okay, so here is an example of a true memento mori picture from BBC. It was common for families to have lots of children and also common for them to die before their 5th birthday. In this picture, the youngest child had died and is propped up against a stand for the picture. So this is an example of one. Sometimes hard to tell, sometimes easier to tell. Here's another example here. The parents are a little bit blurred and the dead person who does not move is still. So long exposures when taking photographs meant that the dead were often seen more sharply than the slightly blurred living because of their lack of movement. So something to note if you're looking for authenticity. Now these are both photographs of deceased people. On some occasions, eyes would be painted onto the photograph after it was developed, which was meant to make the deceased look more lifelike. This is the one on the left. While other times, death was more obvious. Okay, so as you can see, the difference there. Okay, in these 3 examples, we've got 2 girls pose with their dead mother while a Victorian father mourns his baby. And the woman on the right, this woman here, her cheeks have been tinted, denoting life, but the deceased toddler remains pale. So just something else to note if you're looking for photos. This photo on the left, the family scene, see if I can make that a little bigger for you, has the live family here, but the deceased little girl is down here with her toys. And that, you know, they even have the cat in the picture. This is a family picture. This was considered an honoring of the entirety of the family and a way to remember people. Now here's an example of a little boy who's had his eyes painted onto the photo while the little girl is arranged upright as if she's dropping off to sleep while playing with her favorite dolls. And here's another one. The death of a loved one was often the trigger to have a family portrait taken, the last chance to have a permanent record of a beloved child. So it may seem very morbid to us, but back then, because death was so common, it was a very common occurrence, and this is how they honored them. So those are some examples I just wanted to show you, and also this concept of memento mori, remembering death, can also be impactful to get us to get moving and live life fully, because we only have so many days left. So let's live them fully. Let's craft, let's have fun, let's collect things, let's share them with the world and talk about things. And also, if you recall seeing the skull in a lot of old paintings, that was a symbol of memento mori, remember death. And it was used in art. Let me see if I can find an example. Okay, here are some examples that you may have seen where a skull appears in a painting in art from days gone by. This might look familiar. Some are current, some are old. There's the skull. And that was a symbol of remember death, memento mori. Yeah, there you go. So let's see if Sunshine has anything to say on this topic. All right, Sun. Cub Pup Reporter. Whoop, a little close here, Ma. A little close. Back it up, back it up. Okay. Sorry, I had the zoom on. Let me back it up. Okay, that's better. Okay. All right. All right, I'm getting in position. Here I come. Come here. Hello, everybody. It's Sunshine. Well, that was an interesting talk. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so back to Happy Land, where we're just cutting and gluing paper for the fascination of it all. Feel free to do more research on your own. This is only a little small smattering of what is out there, but it is very interesting to see how people honored the dead in the olden days. And, well, I thought it was interesting. Yeah, and we're going back to Happy Land, right, Ma? No more of that death and dying stuff. No, no, no. Take us back to the happy papers. Okay, well, we're just remembering that, and we're remembering, got to get out there. I look like Yoda. I know you do. You look like Yoda. We got to get out there and live life, right? Yeah, let's live life. Let's go for a walk, Ma. Let's go for not a swim, not a swim, a walk. We'll go for a walk. It's only 107 million degrees outside. Maybe later, when the sun goes down, we'll go for a walk. Okay, we'll work on that. I think we'll do that. Yay! Okay. All right, everybody, live life to the fullest. Have fun. And be back at you with the Paper Outpost. Don't forget, I've got my fabric packs for sale right now. I still have a few of those left. If you're interested, they're in my Etsy shop. And that comes with free priority mail shipping. And thank you to everybody who has purchased them. And I do have a limited supply of those, so once they are gone, that'll be a little while before they are back. I don't know if they'll ever be back, actually, so let's just go with we don't know at this point. I don't want to make a promise I can't keep. Okay. So, but I did go through my entire fabric collection for that. So, or pretty much most of it. So that's the word if you were looking for that word again anyway. But if you don't know, I have a free monthly emailed newsletter. And in that newsletter, if you sign up for it, the links are down below in the link, the description box. You'll get a free digital image emailed to you every month, a checklist of supplies, a note from the bookmaker, which explains what a junk journal is and how to use it. And you're going to get junk journal tips, updates from me, all sorts of fun stuff. And peeks at new DigiKits coming out. There's over 200 to pick from. I also sell DigiKits in my Etsy shop. They are printable, downloadable images, 5 pages each of themed photographs, themed images that you can use in your junk journals. It makes it kind of fun to make themed, or you can mix them all together and do eclectic ones, which is generally what I tend to do. And if you don't have a printer or don't like to print, I will print them for you. Just buy the print and mail option. You don't need to buy each individual DigiKit, but please send me your list of DigiKits that you want. The names of them, I only need the first 2 or 3 words of the name. You can message that list to me or in Etsy message, or you can send it to my email, which is, turn that off. It's a little bright. Okay. My email address, which is pam@thepaperoutpost.com. And then, what else? Okay, I have I sell fundles, which are collections of old and interesting papers. If you like old antique ledgers and checks, receipts, postcards, black and white photos, all sorts of fun things in there. Over 100 pieces. Free priority mail shipping is included, and that's called a fundle with an F. I have an Amazon shop if you're looking for favorite tools and supplies that you see me use here on the Paper Outpost. I do my best to put links into my Amazon shop for you. I think I'm going to rearrange my Amazon shop a little bit. I've got too many things in favorite tools and supplies, and maybe I'm going to make separate categories for glue, for cutting devices, for things like that, so it's a little easier to maneuver. I tried maneuvering it as a person coming in just from the outside cold looking in. It's a little hard to scroll through, so I'm going to work on that. That's a little project I have. Okay. I have a t-shirt shop. If you like the phrase create with reckless abandon, or everything else is a craft supply until proven otherwise, you can get that on a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a zipped hoodie, a mug, a tote, or a water bottle. And great for gift giving, for family, friends, yourself, or other crafters. And you can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Come and join our Facebook group. We're having a lot of fun over there doing weekly and monthly challenges, as well as seeing what you guys make from these videos. So inspirational. Thank you for all your contributions. And I love seeing what you guys do. Remember most of all that fun can be simple, and create with reckless abandon. Take care, everyone. Let's keep learning together. Bye-bye.